Okay, here's a few thoughts on this sample video that I've included for the avoiding third ball attacks. The idea here being that Paul Pinkewich on the right is using in this particular match a smooth inverted rubber on the black side, and the red side is his pips rubber. I believe at the time he was playing this match, it's actually Tony Hold Virus 2, which is pretty much a frictionless type rubber that he was using, whereas Dennis Makaling on the left is playing a conventional loopers game off both sides, and Dennis has a very good forehand and very good backhand loop. So the things to watch for here is just watch what side Paul is using on the different returns that he makes, and just how Paul manipulates the point to try and avoid Dennis making strong third ball, fifth ball attacks, while not trying to stop Dennis from attacking completely, because he does want Dennis to actually open up and give Paul a chance to get in some good strong chops. So let's get to the match. Okay, Paul using there the frictionless to return and getting a mistake. So the red being the frictionless, going there with the inverted, back to the frictionless and getting pinged for it that time. You'll notice that Paul used the inverted quite a lot close to the table. He's renowned for heavy chops close to the table. He's not afraid to use, when back from the table, to twiddle and use the frictionless or use the inverted side. Often serves with the inverted, pushing heavy there with the inverted side, but got pinged, as will happen against someone of Dennis's standard, who's a very, very good attacker. And just popping that in frictionless return there off the end of the table. Back to the heavy ball, chopping heavy again, and just getting caught a little bit there. Again, back to the heavy side. You can see that in that transition ball from the serve and Paul's third ball, quite often a heavy push with the inverted side to slow down the attack and give him a chance now to come in with the frictionless or the inverted side, depending on how strong Dennis's attack is. Back to the inverted, and really you can also see from the video Paul has a very, very strong forehand grip. So although I don't like his grip particularly, it still works for him. It just goes to show that even though your grip may not be perfect by conventional standards, it doesn't mean you can't play good table tennis. And Paul using the frictionless there to again get a pop-up return from Dennis. Serve with the frictionless, still the frictionless stuff, loading it up, and Dennis putting it into the net there, getting tricked, I guess, by the amount of backspin on the ball. Some good returning by Paul, just missing at the end. Nice drop shot. And what Paul's looking really to do here is basically control the play close to the table, mainly with the inverted, and use the frictionless a lot back from the table to load up backspin and stop Dennis from really getting too much power on the ball. You'll also notice that Paul's certainly not afraid of serving long. He usually can handle that return of serve. Gives him a chance then, if he serves long like so, to get a long return that he can start his way back to chop. If he serves too short and tight, he may get a short pushback, and paying the penalty there for a bit of a high chop. And again, you'll see this in a match between two players of a similar standard. Players will struggle to execute everything. A good chop there with the frictionless, back to the smooth, again in inverted, back to the inverted close to the table, and then twiddling to the frictionless to try and handle that more difficult ball from Dennis, but just making the mistake. Paul really does prefer to play with the occasionally he will go with that frictionless away from the table, but generally when possible he'll prefer inverted close to the table, and really using that frictionless when possible away from the table for anything there where he's under pressure. and using the inverted to get a little bit more spin variation. Whereas Dennis, I guess, is looking to force the play, put Paul under pressure, and get some easy balls to put away. Good frictionless return, scrambling the chop, and pushing off the end of the table. Alright, just to recap, I'd suggest maybe going back and having a look again at the video, just to watch the play. But basically what you're seeing exhibited in this video is Paul using, from close to the table, using the inverted a lot, playing a heavy ball not to take away Dennis's chance to attack, but just take away the chance for Dennis to attack him strongly. And when Paul executes that well, Dennis has to lift the ball rather than power it. Paul then has a chance to get back in position, choose whether to use the inverted or choose whether to use the frictionless to really load up the spin and reflect it all back, and then gives Paul a chance to be comfortably in his defensive position. Where Paul is losing points is when close to the table he doesn't get the return as heavy, or Dennis takes a chance and attacks it a little bit heavier and catches Paul transitioning back from the table. And Paul then sometimes, if he's not using the frictionless, if he's caught with his inverted side, Paul sometimes has a bit of trouble controlling the ball, keeping it low or keeping it on the table. And those are the points that then Dennis has a good chance to either win outright or get an easier ball to follow up. So an interesting tactical battle from between both players, depending on whether Paul can really do what he's trying to do with his close to the table play, then allowing him to get back into a good defensive position to control the point from there on in.